Good evening, ASU POS360 World Politics. Today I'll be responding to the question posed by Michael Herbig, who asks, do the freedoms and interests of the United States require a highly funded military due to threats faced from nations in competition with them? Is there a real threat faced by the United States from competing nations? If not, what could be an alternative to protecting the interests of the United States? Well, when it comes to the freedoms and interests of the United States, I personally do believe we need a highly funded military to help protect our interests. However, I think it's also important to say that our military doesn't always just support our own interests, but also helps in foreign and diplomatic humanitarian crises. Something you can correspond to this is the cyclone that hit Indonesia a couple of years ago. As far as the threat from competing nations, currently we have two competitors here in 2019 that are rising to challenge the United States and the West's interest, beginning with Russia and China, who are both building up their current militaries and showing hostile intent towards American interests, whether it be in Ukraine and NATO or freedom of navigation operations in the Chinese via the Spratly Island chain down in the South China Sea. As far as your last question as to what could be an alternative to protecting the interests of the United States, I don't think the military is the only way to protect our interests around the world, but other options could include foreign investment, foreign aid, and diplomacy, and three different ways we could project our power in some organizations that might facilitate that might be the World Bank or the United Nations. So I don't think we necessarily only need a military. I think it's kind of like a triad of the three, diplomatic, economic, and militaristic cooperation. And thanks.